All right, we are back. We are looking at the book of Proverbs, and we're on chapter 4. I'm rocketing along. Remember that this is supposedly Solomon who is writing this, and this section of 4 has some interesting stuff in it. It's if you've been keeping track of what's going on, this is words of instruction from a father to his son. And many of these begin off saying, listen to me, my son. Let's see, I'm trying to it. My son, do not forget my teaching. Let's see. Wisdom calls you, my son. Listen to me, my son. My son, if you accept my word, it's all my son. So that's the gist of it. Now, who would like to start us off reading 4? And let's see how far we can go. 4, 1 through 9.
I'll do it.
Okay, you go.
My children, listen when your father corrects you. Pay attention and learn good judgment, for I'm giving you good guidance. Don't turn away from my instructions, for I too was once my father's son, tenderly loved as my mother's only child. My father taught me, take my words to heart, follow my commands, and you will live. Get wisdom, develop good judgment. Don't forget my words or turn away from them. Don't turn your back on wisdom, for she will protect you. Love her, and she will guard you. Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment. If you prize wisdom, she will make you great. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will place a lovely wreath on your head. She will present you with a beautiful crown.
There you go. So, it's interesting. Susan, did your opening say, listen, my children?
Hear, O children, a father's instruction.
Oh, and what's your translation?
New American,
Mm-hmm.
New American Bible.
What about you, Sharon? What's your translation?
You mean what edition? What, the Bible?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It says
it's been the
NLT.
NLT.
NLT, yeah. I have to look through.
That's the new. Is it the New Living Translation? Is that it?
Yeah, good for you. Oh,
yeah, it doesn't. It's not easy to find that in here.
All right, let's see. Oh, don't fall on my head. Okay.
Life Application Study Bible.
All right, let's see what I've got here. So I'm looking at the New Revised Standard Version.
New Living Translation.
New Living Translation.
Yeah, that's the only place. That little tiny.
The New Revised Standard Version also has my children. I'm looking at the NIV here, and it says, listen, my son.
Yes.
My sons. So that's where I'm getting my sons, and you're looking at it going, what is he talking about? It says children. So when you go back to 3, what does it have at the opening of 3? What does it say?
Son.
Okay. All right. Then it's just going to be this. They just picked to make it to all the children. Doesn't have to be a son, can be a daughter. Okay. Pay attention to gain understanding, give a sound learning, don't forsake my teaching. When I was in my father's house. So this is interesting. Who is Solomon's father?
David.
So he's saying when I was with my dad, David, and an only child of my mother, and that would be Bathsheba. Right? So he was the next born. He taught me and said, lay hold of my words in all your heart, keep my commands. So this is a wonderful description of David teaching Solomon the precepts of wisdom. So when you have Solomon later on asking God saying to Solomon, what do you want? You know, lots of gold and silver and big ships and like that. This started off for Solomon when he was a little boy coming from David. Right. Keep my commands and you will live, get wisdom for understanding. So yeah, wonderful little tidbit in there, a little historical thing where he's saying it happened to me when I was a kid too. All right. 5, get wisdom, get understanding. What did yours say? 5, what's the opening, Sharon?
Get wisdom, develop good judgment.
Okay, develop good judgment. All right, so mine is kind of gritty, I guess. Get understanding, get wisdom, get understanding.
That's what mine says.
Okay. Do not forsake my words or swerve from them. So that's an important, instruction for a child or for us as we get, go just get it. Imagine imagine that you've gone to the store and someone keeps asking you, what should I do? And what you wind up saying is just go get it. Just get it. Stop thinking about it, stop meandering around, just do it. Somebody needs to tell you just to do it. Well, here it is, just do it. Do not forsake wisdom, she'll protect you. And this beautiful imagery here, love her and she'll watch over you. Wisdom is supreme. This is 7. Therefore, get, again, there it is again, get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. There it is again. Esteem her and she will exalt you. Embrace her and she will honor you. And 9, she will set a garland of grace on your head and present you with a crown of splendor. So
I think my 7 is kind of interesting.
what is this?
Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do.
Oh, that's the chicken or egg bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is mine. What does your 7 say? What's the first line of 7?
Who? Mine?
Yeah.
Getting what I just said.
Oh, okay. What
Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do, and whatever else you do, develop good judgment.
okay. What about you, Sue? What's 7?
The beginning of wisdom is get wisdom. So
Hey,
it says the beginning of wisdom is, and there's a colon,
all
which
right.
means whatever follows is the answer.
Oh,
Get wisdom. So the beginning of wisdom is get wisdom. So the minute that you have that thought of, I'm going to get wisdom, you've now begun to get wisdom.
okay. Mine says wisdom is supreme. Therefore, get wisdom. So I like that. Yours, Susan, is kind of more terse than mine. I like this. I circled supreme all over the place. Yeah, supreme. It's the only thing. That's what it says. It's though it costs you everything.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the pearl of great price, right? This is the treasure in the field.
At the cost of all you have, get understanding.
Yep. Remember, Jesus told the story. He said the man sold everything he owned and bought the field. He's going to give away all he's got to get that one thing. And he told the 3 stories about it. So this is, dates back. Jesus's teachings are going to be echoing in people's minds if they know Proverbs. If the people were, those young Jewish men who memorized much of the Old Testament, this kind of thing would come back to mind and say, oh, he's right in this teaching. He's moving right along. Esteem her and she will exalt you. Embrace her and she will honor you. I love it. She'll set a garland of grace on your head and present you with a crown of splendor. So the living that you take, if you get rid of everything that you own, you have to sell it, get rid of it, whatever, abandon it. You're going to be so much better off when you're done. And it's part of this is what you're, I like the imagery of getting rid of stuff, right? Let's see, where is it? Though it cost all. What does yours say? Though it cost all? That's the bottom of 7.
Mine says at the cost of all you have.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So that's my mind goes to stuff. I imagine the person selling everything, getting rid of everything and going after this. But it goes beyond that too, because I have my own perspective. I have my own wants and desires. I have my own selfish inclinations.
Energy.
Yeah. And this is
time.
Get rid of it. Don't have any of that.
Or at the cost, put all your energy into doing it.
Right.
Put all your time into doing it. Put all your effort into doing it.
Yep.
Everything that you have in you.
Yep.
It's what the rich young ruler couldn't do.
Good. Yeah. That's exactly it. Rich young ruler. Yep. It's all you need to give it all. So, okay, who's
Oh, wait, I have one more thing to
oh,
say.
yeah, go.
In verse 9, in mine, it says, she will put on your head a graceful diadem.
Nice.
So the diadem is a crown, and you can think of it as being, oh, that's so lovely. But if you kind of tweak it a little, turn it a little, a graceful, could be full of grace.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that material diadem crown. It's grace filled. It's
Yeah.
grace, you know,
It's a container.
it's no, it's it's you being endowed full of grace,
Yeah.
right? It's not the diadem itself that's graceful. It's that you are now full of grace.
It's God's grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Diadem. Great word. Losing that one. All right. Who wants to read 10? We'll go through 17. 10 through 17.
If we go through, okay, 17. Okay. All right, I can read it.
Okay.
Hear, my son, and receive my words, and the years of your life shall be many. On the way of wisdom, I direct you. I lead you on straightforward paths. When you walk, your step will not be impeded, and should you run, you will not stumble. Hold fast to instruction. Never let her go. Keep her, for she is your life. The path of the wicked enter not. Walk not on the way of evil men. Shun it, cross it not. Turn aside from it and pass on. For they cannot rest unless they have done evil. To have made no one stumble steals away their sleep. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
No. So this is that teeter-totter, the carrot and the stick, going back and forth. Solomon's saying how wonderful wisdom is and how it'll preserve your life and it'll bring you grace and do all this other. And then if he turns it back over to the evil men and what they do and how bad they are and what their condition is. So he just adds the if you don't do this, this is what's possible. You know, if you don't have wisdom and you're not a bad person, right? You can still fall into really terrible business, either because you were trying to be nice to someone or you're trying to take care of them and you let your heart get in front of your head and all sorts of things happen. So you just wind up getting yourself in trouble because you're the captain of your own ship, right? You're doing it. It's your judgment. It's your wisdom that's taking it. And our wisdom is not that good because it's oftentimes our wisdom is a slave to our emotions. We think things are really smart because we feel happy, we feel in love, we feel sad, we feel sorry for somebody. And so we do stuff. But that's not wise. That's emotional. We think it is. We think it's the right thing to do. And maybe it is, but oftentimes not. It's easier. This is going back to the beginning, saying if you realize that wisdom is the place where you have to start, from that starting place, everything else needs to come. Then these other things won't happen. You just won't get into this place. He's describing these terrible people, right? Don't set foot on the path of the wicked or walk in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Don't travel on it. Turn from it. Go your way. And then describes them. They can't sleep till they do evil. That's what they are. It's who they are. They rob. They are robbed of slumber till they make someone else fall. They don't sleep until they do their terrible thing. They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. So it's what sustains them. It feeds them. I don't think that it's necessarily a totality, although Solomon is speaking in absolutes here. But this can go, just shrink it down to people who are just making decisions and sticking to this decision that's just taking them to a bad place. not necessarily evil place. They're not trying to get everybody else, but they're not going a good direction. It's just not. So it's this as the extreme example, but there's so many lighter examples that exist. Remember, I keep quoting Screw Tape. I'm gonna have to get them out and get the page, but remember that part of the letter where he says the road to hell is a beautiful grass, soft underfoot, gently going down, no stumbling blocks, no, roughness, just sweet smelling grass and gentle walk. And along the way, just, you're fouling up your life, fouling up the way things are going because you're depending upon your own self and you think you're doing good, but you're moving farther and farther away, farther and farther. All right, well, man, we're almost done. How about, all right, 18. Well, 18 and 19 look like they're a little unit. It's just the ending of that section. So you want to just read 18 and 19?
Sure. Mine again is flipped, so I have 19 and then 18.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The way of the wicked is like darkness, and they know not on what they stumble. But the path of the just is like shining light that grows in brilliance till perfect day.
That's really wild. I was going to look that up. I have a note here to look that up, and I did not do it. And you just said New
American
Bible.
New American Bible.
What about you, Sharon? Is it flipped in yours?
No, it's not flipped.
Okay. What about you, Gail?
Flipped either. I got I got the same St. James
Yep.
Version or whatever.
Does it have the righteous first and the wicked second, or the wicked first and the righteous second?
We got the shining sun and then we have the wicked darkness.
Okay, so that's 18 and 19. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'll have to look that up. It's an interesting literary decision.
And they noted that they were doing it because the numbers are flipped.
Oh, they left them?
They left them, so the
Okay.
numbers are out of order.
Yep.
So they're saying, hey, look, we did this thing.
Okay. Interesting. Really interesting. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. It works both ways, right?
I haven't noticed that though, really, in any of the other readings that we've done.
Yep. No.
Maybe they wanted to end it on a positive note. Or
On a
something.
positive note, yeah. They're grouping things. So for me, that there's also a little bit of space in between some of the lines where they really do group things. So in my Bible, there is not a break. So you had to stop at 17.
Yeah.
For me, that grouping is 14 to 18.
Wow.
And then you said 18 and 19 were separate. This is keeping them together.
Okay.
Telling you about the wicked, and that it ends with the path of the just, to bring a person back to the good rather than leaving them with the evil.
4:18. Oh, it's got me going to Isaiah in a minute. Get to Isaiah and figure out what's that. Isaiah 4:18. Let's see what that is. It's saying 19. Oh no, I'm sorry. Isaiah 26:7. So it's just going to be a likeness of what I think they're doing. 26:7. Oh, the path of the righteous is level. O upright one, you make the way of the righteous smooth. The path of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn. So they're just saying that it's repeated. Isaiah
Similar.
things like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Well, who wants to read then? 20 to 27.
I'll go.
All right.
This is NIV. My son, pay attention to what I say. Listen closely to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to a man's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Put away perversity from your mouth. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Make level paths for your feet and take only ways that are firm. Do not swerve to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil.
Yeah. Really all encompassing, isn't it?
Yes.
He's really, really putting it out there that it, even a little bit is too much. And you've got to guard yourself. You can't sit back and say, okay, I'm gonna be protected and I'm not gonna get exposed to this stuff. In fact, I'd say it's the opposite. When again, Lewis wrote, you know, if you own something, you're not excited about getting it because you already own it. It's yours. You're only excited about getting the thing that you don't own.
Mhm.
So he was pointing out, he's saying Satan is not very hard on the people that he already has. They're working their way into hell without any help at all. And he can help them along, but they're already on that trajectory. It's the ones he doesn't have that he goes after. It's the ones that he wants to get off the right path. And so it puts all the little distractions and problems in the way. So and here's this again, was it your heart, guard your heart, put away perversity from your mouth. Sue, what's yours say? It's 24.
Put away from you dishonest talk, deceitful speech, put far from you.
Okay. What about you, Sharon?
Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech.
Mm-hmm. So what would be corrupt speech? What's the definition?
Lies.
Okay. What else?
Exaggeration, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's not truthful.
Yes.
Cursing.
Yes. Yeah. Corrupt speech is really anything. I mean, we think about it. I got the Oxford first definition of perversity is a deliberate desire to behave in an unreasonable or unacceptable way, contrary to practical standards. Yep. So we think of it, oftentimes you hear the word perversity, you think about it within the context of sex. It's a much bigger word than that, and it means the corruption of anything. And they're saying it's a deliberate desire. So this is gossip's a great one for that. People that gossip look for people to gossip with. It's a desire to continue doing that. And a horrible habit, terrible thing. Really draws you in so quick. And people don't even realize they're doing it until it's a part of their life. So this is a warning to say, don't be aware of how you're comporting yourself, how you're speaking. And when you know you're speaking in this way, stop it. Break the cycle and do something different. Think of it in your head. Make it so important that when you're about to speak, you know what you're going to say. You know it. You know where you're going. We all do. We know we're going right there, and just don't do it. I've watched this with people, and I've been guilty of this in my lifetime as well. And I don't know what powers it. It's very interesting to me. When you're in a conversation with somebody and they're talking and you think of something or something comes into mind and you want to say it so bad, you kind of start gently interrupting, or you're waiting for them to breathe so that you can go, well, there was a time when or I saw something or something, you jump in because you just can't stand it. You've got to get it out there. And I don't know where that comes from. Where's the power, the spiritual power from behind that? Is it Satan that does that? Because that the whole interplay in conversation is corrupted. You know, you start doing, if you're depending on who you're talking to, you can start doing a one-upsman, trying to get into each other's sentences all the time as you go. But thinking about it, when you get that feeling inside that you want to do this, you want to say something, I want to say something, try not saying it. Just think about not saying it. Fight the urge. It's like smoking, you know, fighting the urge. Don't do it. Just as an experiment. Try as an experiment. I'm going to see if I can stand it. If I can not say something, not get in there. It may be purifying, may make a big difference. If you have that issue, if that's part of your life, then this could change everything for you. Just this little thing. Okay, we did 4. And we can still do 5. Let's go into 5. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay. Who wants to go? Gail, you want to read?
Okay.
Well, when we go to Susan, doesn't have any breaks in hers. Hers goes on forever. So mine stops at 7. So why don't we just try it that way and go 1 through 7? Well, 1 through 6.
Okay. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding, that you may persevere discretion, and that your lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil, and in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-sided sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of hell. Lest you ponder her path of life, her ways are unstable, you do not know them.
Yeah. So this is, we already talked about adultery back a few, right? And Solomon's going to keep coming back to this. It could be that he had, you know, a wandering eye. I don't think he didn't, eventually he did. Eventually he had how many wives?
300,
300. And how many concubines?
700.
You're quick with that.
I would say that's a wandering eye, wouldn't you? He made it.
Gosh.
Now, when he wrote this, so think about that. Think about how his life turned out. 1,000 women at his disposal. They were his. So when he's younger, when he's putting this wisdom together and teaching his son, this is a thing that he keeps coming back to. Like it is foreshadowing what's going to happen in the future. It's because it's in him already. Right? This is his trajectory, his possible trajectory. And he's saying, I know this. I can experience it. I haven't necessarily done it, but I have been tempted. So I know how strong this is. I know how pervasive this is. I know how dangerous this is. So don't do it. And then, of course, he completely fails and goes where he goes. So, yeah, this is going to come back and back and back. It's the, you know, if you think about, and this is specifically adultery that he's talking about within the context of a marriage. But the overall point here is just sexual immorality and what it can do. And it can ruin everything, ruin your entire life and get you on just the wrong track all over the place. So, yeah, I know somebody right now that I can't even talk to him anymore. It's sad, but that's been his life. That's been the trajectory of his life, and it's destroyed his life. He's gotten divorced. His kids are grown, but they're not very attentive to him, and he recognizes it. He realizes that this has been the reason why all this has happened. He has spent his life seeking pleasure and not honoring his wife, and not being an honorable person, a caring person in that way. He said, I never cared for my wife the way I should have, because I was always planning the next tryst. So his wife was ignored. I mean, he's not talking about, I didn't have sex with my wife, I didn't make love to my wife. He's not talking about that. He's saying in general, because I was doing this with other women, just planning it, just thinking about it in my head, kept me from being a kind, gentle, attentive man, and ruined my life. So this is Solomon all over, and he's right on track. He's absolutely on track. Especially for young men, it's a dangerous thing, right?
I've got a note here that says it degrades a human being by, wait a minute, let me see. It destroys family life, erodes a person's ability to love.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what he's saying. He eventually just lost that. And now that it's too late, he's coming to his senses, but his world's shattered. And I mean, it's done everything. He lost his job. It's wrecked his whole life, everything. He has no security. He's got no retirement. He's gonna have Social Security, that's it. And he started out so good and strong and on the right track. And I did not know him all his life, and when I did know him, I didn't know this was part of his life, and it was. And it's come to a head now, and it really was the divorce that really did it to him. He just said, okay, well, whatever. And then I don't know. Part of it was his wife worked. So he learned pretty quickly that without her income, he's not going to make it. He's got to do something different.
So he can't love now. He can't love now.
Actually, he can, if he keeps going this way. He now is aware of what he's done and how he's lived his life and what kind of person he's been. And he's saying, I've been a terrible person and I wrecked my life. So if he comes back from that, if he throws all that off, hindsight's 2020, changes his life, turns himself around, comes back to Christ, he's talking to me, right? Yeah, he's entirely possible to save. But here's the horror of it. How many people's lives did he influence? We're not just talking about his wife and his kids. We're talking about every woman he was with. Mm-hmm. And all the guys he hung out with that he encouraged to do the same thing he was doing. And going to the places where all those men are doing that and being one of those men. And even though I don't know that other man, I'm supported by him because he's here and I'm here too. And isn't this fun? So that's, his life has been a wrecking ball for other lives. That's a huge thing to realize. Yeah, it fans out. You don't know how bad or how good your actions can be on people's lives. And we don't find out about it. We don't know what happens when people leave, if they're afflicted by us, or if they are helped in some way. They don't come back and say, oh, I should say very rarely do people come back to you and say, oh, you said this thing and it made me really happy and changed my life. When was the last time it happened? Anybody? It's very rare. But more times we go back to each other, especially people that we know well, and tell them how what they did was terrible. Not wonderful. How wonderful it was. All right. 6, where are we now? 18, we're fine. How about 7 to 14 through 14? 7 verses. Who's up? Sharon.
Okay. 7 through what?
14.
14. So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray away from what I am about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you will lose your honor and will lose to merciless. I'm sorry, my light's going out. If you do, you will lose your honor and will lose to merciless people all you have achieved. Strangers will consume your wealth, and someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor. In the end, you will groan in anguish when disease consumes your body. You will say, "How I hated discipline. If only I had not ignored all the warnings. Oh, why didn't I listen to my teachers? Why didn't I pay attention to my instructors? I've come to the brink of utter ruin, and now I must face public disgrace."
Yeah. Why indeed? Right? Why indeed? There's the $24 million question. When we realize what we've done, the wise thing to do is say why and then figure it out. And that's painful and ugly and nasty and don't want to go there, but you have to. If you're going to ask that question, if that question comes back to you, then you have to answer it. And when you answer it, you can let it go. Otherwise, it's always going to be hanging out there as a question. How I hated discipline and my heart spurned. Don't go to the door of her house. So, this is if you see this, I always think of The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman.
Mm.
Yeah. So remember Mrs. Robinson, that's the Simon and Garfunkel song. So he realized what she was doing, and he still went over there. Right? So this is exactly what I thought of when I read this before. That's Mrs. Robinson. The option is there. It's just provided for me, and I have to be the one that says no. I have to be the one that has the strength to move myself a different direction and let this stop. To not go near the door. Okay, utter ruin. All right. How about wow, this could be something. How about 15? 15 to 20.
I'll go.
All right.
Drink water from your own cistern, running water from your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets, your streams of water in the public squares? Let them be yours alone, never to be shared with strangers. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. A loving doe, a graceful deer. May her breast satisfy you always. May you ever be captivated by her love. Why be captivated, my son, by an adulteress? Why embrace the bosom of another man's wife?
Yeah, he's really hammering this, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just utter ruin. And if you think about it, I mean, sad. This is so sad. Think about what he's saying here, and then look forward in his life.
I know.
He is the example of everything he's saying here.
And he was the wisest man that ever lived.
Yep.
Was he?
So mine is a little bit different. And I like the words in this. This is, can I read mine just maybe
Sure,
from
yeah.
18?
Mhm.
And have joy of the wife of your youth, your lovely hind, your graceful doe. Her love will invigorate you always. Through her love, you will flourish continually. When you lie down, she will watch over you. And when you wake, she will share your concerns. Wherever you turn, she will guide you. Isn't that beautiful?
That's beautiful. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. So yeah, this drink water from your own cistern, running water from your own well, that's your marriage. That's your relationship. That's your wife. So he's saying just don't there's no grass. The grass is not greener. It's AstroTurf. It looks pretty, and you're going to get over there, and you're going to want to have it nice, soft, and sweet, and it's all fake. It's not going to be good. All right, we're on the roll. 21 through 23. Gail?
Okay. For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. His own iniquities entrap the wicked man, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He shall die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray.
Yeah. Yep.
Was he thinking about doing this at the time?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think it was a part of him that he had it may have been all around him. He may have seen this happening and known this was happening. I don't know if he knew about his own dad. That's a good question. Did he know about the whole, Uriah business? Was that something that was public to him? I don't know. But I think that he had, based on this and based on where he went, how he wound up, I think he had a problem. I think that he knew that he had an amorous view of women, and it was just in him, and he knew it. And so he's saying, this is terrible. It's distracting. It's horrible. And it's going to lead you to a terrible place. I know. Right. But
Do what I say, not what I do.
yeah, well, that's coming. At this point, I think that he's fighting it. And he's fighting it by writing it down and telling his son about it.
Well, and you think about these proverbs, how many years did it take to write all this? How much? I mean, this is not like he did this in a week, right?
Right.
This is over time. So this is something that he has been struggling with. And it talks about have joy of the wife of your youth. So he's beyond that. He's not
Yes.
at his youth anymore.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
And the verse 23 for me says, he will die from lack of discipline. So Gail's, I think, said instruction. And to me, that's a big difference in words because he had the instruction already. It was his lack of discipline in following the instruction that would make the difference.
And then my last word is folly. What's your last word?
Through the greatness of his folly, he will be lost.
Lost. No, mine's the other way around. It says he led astray by his own great folly. So that's just back to the same thing we were saying earlier. I have a view, but aren't we going through this with the political process right now? Everybody's got this view and they've got this idea, and it's they won't listen. So it's my idea. I don't want to hear anything about anything, actually. If you have something you want to tell me that's about the person I like, I'm just not going to listen to you because I know enough. And I'm not going to hear it. I won't hear it. So that's my wisdom. My wisdom is, and we've seen this all over the place, and how false this is and broken this is. It's just this is just taking us back, saying this is just one space, one avenue that will ruin you. And look at where, I'm not going to harp on this, but look at where we are. People turning into themselves just what they want, not listening to other things, other people, not thinking beyond just this myopic small little world that they are creating for themselves. And look where we wound up right now. It's just the country's so divided, so at each other's throats. I mean, it's shocking. You listen to the news and hear all about it. I don't know how it's going to stop. Well, people should read Proverbs. That's how. That could do it, right? Get away from this me, I'm me, all me thing and move it on. All right. Well, that's great. We did 2 verses tonight. Fantastic. We're up to number 6. I've got a little star next to it now, so we know where we're going. And I'm going to try to research Susan's flipped verse 18 and 19, see if I can get the background of that. It's obviously an editorial move, but I would like to know their reasoning, and it must be written somewhere.
And last week when we were here, there was another flip. I don't remember what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was 27, 28 or something.
Yeah, that was in 2.
Look at it.
Wasn't it? Oh, no, it was in 3.
Hold on.
yeah, you had several places that it was,
Let's
but
see.
And it didn't end up the same, or it did?
It was it did 23, 24, 35, 25,
And that
26.
was of 3, right?
That was in chapter 3, verse 35 was taken from the end and put in between 24 and 25.
Yes, I remember this now. Okay.
But the numbers weren't in sequence. You could tell it because the
That's what I'm
numbers were
saying.
active. Is that right?
Yeah, because all the verses still have the number at the start of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just changed the order.
yeah. And they did it the way I saw it to keep, because at that time they were talking about the value of wisdom. And then the next section was the attitude toward fellow men. And
Yep.
at the end of attitude toward fellow men, there was another thing about the value of wisdom. So they took that off the end and put it up.
Yep, but that's, again, that could just be an editorial decision that they made to try to.
I think it has to be because they left the verse numbers
Mhm.
the same as originally
Just
done.
fit it together in a better way.
Hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, I'm good. I hope you are. So we got our stews coming up on Saturday, as we all know. And if you have some, if you order some, you're going to be going to church to pick it up, I think. And otherwise, keep everybody in your prayers, especially those folks that are going to be there at 4 o'clock. Don, pray for Don. He's going to be there at 3:15 or something, starting it off and getting ready for the guys to come at 4.
He
So,
got there at midnight the last time.
oh, did he? Oh,
Yeah.
wow, man.
That's rough.
No, he's been a real blessing and a fantastic stew master. Really.
Yes.
Yep. All right, guys. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Sleep well. Be at peace.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.